We may feel that it is a uniquely Western neurosis, a particular fixation afflicting those who have perhaps spent a bit too much time in psychotherapy. The tendency to go on and on about one's relatives and their profound contribution to one's unhappiness. It can seem almost self-indulgent, this modern ritual of tracing our adult anxieties, our fears, and our failures back to the formative years of our childhood. To be 25 or even 62 and still be turning over in one's mind how mom's insecurity or grandpa's coldness might be responsible for spoiling one's relationships or ruining one's life, this can feel like an endless, circular conversation with the past. This perspective, deeply embedded in the psychoanalytic tradition, suggests that our present is haunted by the ghosts of our upbringing. But in case we thought this approach was irritatingly modern, a product of Freudian Vienna and a culture of introspection, we should keep in mind that this is, in fact, an ancient human intuition. Long before the invention of the therapist's couch, traditional societies across Africa have entertained remarkably comparable thoughts, from the Yoruba of West Africa to the Oromo of Ethiopia and the Hutu of Rwanda and Eastern Congo. Across these diverse cultures, the patterns are always strikingly similar. One's parents or relatives die, and one then has to handle their ghosts or spirits with immense care and respect, or else face grave mischief in one's own life. The core idea is not one of simple blame, but of cosmic connection and unresolved energy. In many of these traditions, ancestors are not seen as distant memories, but as active participants in the lives of the living. They are the guardians of lineage, the holders of wisdom, and the foundation upon which the community stands. An unsettled or dishonored ancestor can therefore disrupt the balance, not out of pure malice, but because their own peace is disturbed, causing ripples that affect their descendants' health, fortune, and mental well-being. In Yoruba culture, for instance, this understanding is deeply woven into the fabric of healing. Those whose minds have been experiencing persistent difficulties, what we might call anxiety, depression, or creative blocks, have traditionally gone to visit a highly revered therapeutic figure known as a diviner or Babalawo. The Babalawo, whose title translates to Father of Secrets, is a priest, a psychologist, and a spiritual mediator all in one. The core assumption of their practice is that mental and spiritual troubles must be the result of some kind of discord in our relationship to one of our dead ancestors, who inhabit an invisible but active spirit world, distinct from the tangible, everyday realm. Let us imagine the scene. A person arrives at the home of the Babalawo, burdened by a sense of unease they cannot shake. The consultation does not begin with an interrogation, but with a ritual to create a sacred space. During this spiritual consultation, the diviner will take a measure of a sufferer's particular history. To do so, they will make use of a highly prized and beautiful object called an Iroke Ifa stick-like divination tapper, often carved from wood or ivory. The Babalawo will start to beat the tapper rhythmically on a divination tray. This sound is not incidental. It is a technology of consciousness. The steady, percussive rhythm creates a special atmosphere that separates the session from the chaos of the day-to-day. It helps to relax the sufferer, quiet the chattering of the conscious mind, and render them more receptive to the Babalawo's interventions. It is a way of calling attention, both from the client and from the spiritual realm, focusing all energies on the perturbing ancestors. Appropriately, the tapper's designs are rich with symbolism, typically showing a solemn, kneeling figure representing the sufferer in a state of humility and openness. On top of this figure's head is often carved a divine kind of bird, a powerful symbol with the ability to traverse worlds to fly from the realm of the living into the spirit world and there connect with the dead. Herein lies a profound difference in approach. The Babalawo doesn't merely speak about a given ancestor with their client. They create a space where it is possible to directly speak to this ancestor as a means of understanding and resolving the issues at play. This process externalizes the inner conflict, giving it shape and form. Someone might, for example, arrive complaining of feeling like an imposter at work, perpetually afraid of being exposed as a fraud despite their achievements. They might speak of a recurring pattern of sabotaging their best professional efforts right at the cusp of success. After listening and performing divination, the Babalawo might suggest that their success in business could be unconsciously perceived as threatening or humiliating a long-dead father, whom the client described as an impressive but tyrannical and deeply insecure figure in life. In modern psychological terms, we might call this an internalized critical parent, but the Babalawo treats it not as a mental concept, but as a living spiritual reality. At this point, the Babalawo might then do one of two things, acting as a fearless mediator. They might enter a communicative state and have a firm but respectful conversation with the father's spirit, explaining that the offspring's success is not a betrayal, but an honor to the family line. They might reason with the spirit, urging it to release its grip and give its blessing. Or, if the father spirit seems resistant to argument, locked in its old patterns of envy and control, and continues to appear vengeful, then the Babalawo will take a stronger stance. With the client's implicit permission, they will decisively banish this person deeper into the spirit world, drawing a clear boundary and forbidding them from ever intervening again in the realm of the living. This act provides a powerful, cathartic release for the cliente, definitive severing of a toxic spiritual tie that allows them to move forward with a newfound sense of permission and freedom. The Western world takes huge pride in the psychological intelligence that led to the emergence of psychotherapy at the dawn of the 20th century, and rightly so. Yet we don't need to denigrate the achievement behind this discipline to realize that much of what was thought to have been discovered only in the modern age may, in reality, have been known about for a very long time already, albeit expressed in a different, more symbolic language. Quite what one might have to do to keep an ancestor or the memory of an ancestor from ruining one's life may change from society to society. But the underlying feeling that one must try something, that these lingering influences must be addressed, seems to be almost universal. The idea is fundamentally the same. There are spirits, energies, or memories from the past that have a potent power to throttle and ruin the present. The persistent headaches, or the impotence, the paranoia, or the bad marriage, all of it might have to do with ghosts. People from the past are everywhere, living inside our heads and our habits, doing somewhat unholy things. The wise, across cultures and centuries, have always known to pay these spirits enough attention to understand their message and loosen their grip in order to enable the living to finally get on with their lives. Whether through a therapist's office in Vienna or a Babalawo's consultation in West Africa, the wisdom remains constant. The goal is not to erase the past or to live in perpetual blame. It is to understand it, to respectfully engage with its power, and then to release its hold. This is the path to true liberation. It is how we transform the ghosts of yesterday into the wisdom of today, allowing us to finally step into the sunlight, unchained and ready to live up to our fullest potential. The beautiful truth is that healing is possible. We can make peace with our ancestors, both literal and metaphorical, and in doing so, we give ourselves the greatest gift of all, a future defined not by the wounds of the past, but by the promise of what is yet to come. If you found this exploration of ancient wisdom and modern psychology meaningful, we invite you to join our community. Please subscribe to our channel for more journeys into the ideas that shape our lives. Click the bell icon to be notified, and help us continue to explore the profound connections that unite us all across time and culture.